Director and DCU head James Gunn lists his top DC heroes. Superman soars to number 1, Peacemaker on second, and Batman trails behind, again. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. While Batman remains one of the most iconic and commercially successful superheroes in history, he continues to play third fiddle in the mind of one of DC's top creative forces. And although it is just a fun list, one cannot help but wonder if it also reveals a lot about where Gunn's creative priorities lie and which characters are driving the tone and direction of the new DC universe. As it is given that Gunn has a clear preference for characters he's been able to shape from scratch, like Peacemaker, and now, his vision of Superman. Coming from a director who straddles both Marvel and DC with ease, these rankings matter. Gunn's top picks can influence who gets screen time, who gets spin-offs, and who gets sidelined. And while Batman will still feature prominently in upcoming projects like The Brave and the Bold, it's clear his heart lies elsewhere. James Gunn has officially shared his top 3 DC hero picks yet again, but Batman is still at the bottom. Superman claimed first place, Peacemaker at second, and Batman came in third, a position he's consistently landed in every time Gunn has shared his preferences. In a recent behind-the-scenes video promoting his upcoming Superman film and Peacemaker Season 2 launch, the DC Studios co-head casually ranked his top 3 DC characters. View the post here. As reported by Screen Rant, in a now-deleted tweet, he revealed his list while answering fans, where Harley Quinn held the number 1 spot, followed by Peacemaker in second and Batman in third. And why won't it be? Gunn had just finished working closely with Margot Robbie's Harley, and it was all people could talk about, and on top of that had just introduced John Cena's Peacemaker. James Gunn's superhero rankings haven't always leaned so heavily toward Krypton. Just a couple of years ago, during the release of The Suicide Squad, his top 3 DC characters looked very different. In a video shared by James Gunn, the Peacemaker squad also joined the DC Studios co-head in listing their top 3 DC characters. But then everything changed with Superman. As James Gunn stepped into the director's chair for the highly anticipated reboot of The Man of Steel, his perspective understandably shifted. Thus, once absent from Gunn's personal top rankings, Superman now sits confidently at number 1. Spending months crafting a new vision of the iconic hero seems to have deepened Gunn's connection to the character in ways that surprised even him. Meanwhile, Peacemaker has maintained a strong grip on second place. That's hardly surprising, considering Gunn not only introduced the character in the Suicide Squad but also built an entire HBO Max series around him. Written during the COVID-19 lockdown, the show quickly gained popularity and was renewed for a second season even before the first one finished airing. And then there's Batman, still in the top 3, but always the last. While Gunn clearly respects The Dark Knight's legacy, he seems more creatively inspired by characters he can shape freely. With so many interpretations of Batman already existing, Gunn appears more creatively drawn to characters he can reinterpret through a fresh lens. These picks show just how wide and wild the DC universe really is. From legends like Superman to oddballs like Constantine, it's clear the cast connects with heroes for all kinds of reasons, whether it's nostalgia or just good old-fashioned nerd love. The video featured familiar faces, including John Cena, who plays Peacemaker, Nhat Liu, who portrays Judo Master, Jennifer Holland plays Emilia Harcourt, Steve Agee, who people know as John Economos, Danielle Brooks, who plays Leota Adebayo, and last but not least, Freddie Stroma as Vigilante. Each cast member shared their personal favorites. James Gunn has enough potential to follow through on the success of Superman, but the perfect sequel to the 2025 film already exists in animation. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. In Superman, Unbound, a brash hero takes the center stage against Brainiac as the Man of Steel fights relentlessly to protect Krypton's capital city, Kandor, as well as Earth's metropolis. While Superman is famously renowned for his otherworldly righteousness and a just outlook on all things, xenomorphic or otherwise, Unbound brings out the bolder version of him, who is yet to turn sage and wise by time and experience. With a fair amount of politics and way too many ethical dilemmas to tread in the film, Superman, Unbound mimics the complexities of James Gunn's Superman. The conflict shown in Brainiac's instruction to explore and learn all that is knowable about the galaxy and his literal interpretation of the directive that causes him to destroy civilizations posits a moral yet dangerous dilemma, which can easily best the intensity of the Borovia versus Jaramper conflict. In a perfect world, the 2013 animated movie, Superman, Unbound, would be the perfect successor to James Gunn's DCU debut feature. The film has all the qualities and story elements suited to follow up Clark Kent's story from his early rise in Metropolis and fight against Lex Luthor and his clone, Ultraman. Unbound is upbeat, optimistic, full of hope for the future, has a deep-rooted connection to Krypton throughout the movie's arc rather than keeping it as a one-and-done forgotten backstory, and above all, boasts a villain formidable enough to single-handedly capture and beat Superman. If that alone does not make it a spiritual successor to the DCU Superman, then what else qualifies? In a perfect world, the 2013 animated movie, Superman, Unbound, would be the perfect successor to James Gunn's DCU debut feature. The film has all the qualities and story elements suited to follow up Clark Kent's story from his early rise in Metropolis and fight against Lex Luthor and his clone, Ultraman. Unbound is upbeat, optimistic, full of hope for the future, has a deep-rooted connection to Krypton throughout the movie's arc rather than keeping it as a one-and-done forgotten backstory, and above all, boasts a villain formidable enough to single-handedly capture and beat Superman. If that alone does not make it a spiritual successor to the DCU Superman, then what else qualifies? After much despair, doubt, and debate, James Gunn upturned the audience's expectations by delivering a near-perfect entree into the DCU with Superman. But the issue with swinging right out of the gate with nice reviews and great ratings is that Gunn is now expected to maintain the bar at a high and constant level throughout his run at DCU. Considering his previous show and tell at Marvel with the Guardians trilogy, Gunn has already earned the masses' trust. DC now trusts him to deliver a meaningful, impactful, driven, and emotional journey that can stand the test of time and cure superhero fatigue. Despite its 75-minute runtime, Superman, Unbound paints a complete picture of the Kryptonian superhero, shows him at his worst before he can rise to his best, while also preaching the value of love, support, trust, and teamwork. Voiced by Matt Bomer, Unbound Superman holds a mirror to David Corenswet's version in the DC Universe. The film is rated 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and has grossed $3.5 million in domestic home video earnings, the numbers. All of this might be too much to ask of James Gunn, but the filmmaker has steadily laid out his plans for DCU Chapter 1, which is nothing short of dynamic, powerful, motivated, and glorious. His projects range all over the board, from a true detective-style Lantern series to a full-on body horror movie, Clayface. Other projects like The Brave and the Bold, Sergeant Rock, and a parallel timeline Peacemaker ensure that Gunn is not afraid of coloring outside the lines. It is this unpredictable eccentricity of the filmmaker that makes his universe so interesting and refreshing to watch. Whether or not he can follow up with the success of Superman and deliver on his potential remains to be seen. I wasn't a big fan of James Gunn's one recurring theme that turned out perfect for Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's knack of adding weird and obscure characters in movies